What's up, guys? This is Clint Lund with Lund MX, back here in the shop garage, whatever guy was with the 89 CR500. So I've learned some things since the last episode last weekend, or when did I put that out? Like Wednesday, Thursday? And I learned some things. And some of you guys watching were really keen and picked up on it, and I didn't even notice it until I saw your comments. This is not an 89 CR500 motor. Did we get screwed though? Let's check it out. Okay, I feel like I have to come straight out and say this. There's no possible way that we got screwed for 600 bucks. Like, even if, let's say the engine was seized shut, I still got a hell of a deal at 600 bucks. Let's say the frame was cracked, destroyed, radiator smashed, engine didn't run, 600 bucks all day. But there's such a resurgence with these CR500s, it's nuts. But there's some things, like I just said, that don't really pan out, that just are not adding up, that this bike is kind of a Frankenstein. And it might be in a bad way, but that's why I want to get it on the dirt today. So, you guys remember the shock? Okay, it did. I ended up pulling it out, ran some info on it, and that is a WP rear shock out of an 86 CR500. Why it's in this one, I have no clue. Someone thought it would be better than the 1989. It might be. It is kind of a hodgepodge fit. I'm not a big fan of how it's mounted up in there. Be honest with you guys. This bike is missing a lot of hardware. There's a crack in the rear wheel. The case took a hit from the chain. I'm gonna have to pull it apart at some point and get that repaired. I've done it before on some other bikes. It does work fine, but it's a pain in the neck because you got to split cases and rebuild the whole engine because you're there already. Seat's torn, plastics are painted. So one of the things I wanted to do today was try to strip all the paint off the tank, because that's a real big piece that I care about the most, is the gas tank. The rest of the plastics we can replace. I found them on eBay, I think for 150 bucks for the whole body kit in the original 89 color. So I just want to make sure that that tank comes around. At the end of the day, what I really want to do is put this on the dirt. I don't care really how it looks. I'll strip down the tank. I'll replace some hardware, because when 500s are missing hardware, it buzzes and vibrates horribly. So that is one of the high priorities for today, is to definitely get some hardware in this thing. So let's talk about the engine. So you guys are some fart smellers out there, man. I tell you what. So a lot of you guys picked up on this last time. This hose is routed to the back side of the cylinder, meaning that that is not the stock engine. The 89s, they had a bib that was on the side of the cylinder over here, where it was just a straight shot, one hose that came up. It did not wrap around the back of the cylinder, and you guys were keen. I didn't even catch that, but after I saw that, sure enough, I checked out the serial number on the engine, and it is in fact a 1980, wait for it, 6. So we have a matching rear shock and engine out of an 86 CR500. Now, some of you guys might be saying, oh, well, now it's junk. I know quite a bit about CR500s. Now, I'm not like the most knowledgeable guy out there. There's guys that just eat me alive with the knowledge of these things, but I'll say this. The 86 CR500 was known for having what's called a short rod motor. So what they did from 87 all the way up to, I think, the last 01 made was those were long rod engines. And what would actually happen is there's some kits that you can have out there. If you like the torque of the long rod motor, you could actually get a little plate that spaces out the cylinder, raises the cylinder so you can run the newer style crank in these from like, you know, whatever year after 88 and up. You know, you could run a crank from a newer style, but you have to just put in the spacer on the cylinder. So now you could run the long rod kit. But the guys, the CR500 aficionados, the collectors out there, the 86 was the favorited motor because of the short rod. These things revved higher and faster than the long rods. They had less torque, but they had an incredible amount of horsepower that made up for not having that torque. We're still hunting around that 60 horsepower zone. I do not think this one makes 60 horsepower anymore. It's pretty well worn. There's a lot of things that are bringing the engine's performance down. The whole entire bike is just kind of a Frankenstein, and it got me to thinking, like recently I brought out the Yamasaki. The YX500 that I built a couple years ago that has 87 KX500 engine in it. Fired it up, rode it around, thing's fantastic. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll put this inside of an aluminum frame because it doesn't match. Like if it was, it would be different to me if this was an 89 engine, 89 shock, 89, everything was all original, right? Then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do an OEM build on this thing. But then I had a change of heart. You see, I feel like everyone and their mom these days is doing a 500 conversion into aluminum frame, and we're losing a lot of the original steel bodies. And there is something fantastic about the original steel. They turn fantastic. They vibrate a lot less because you'll get more flex out of steel than aluminum. And let's be honest, it's an old two-stroke. Let's keep them old and wonderful and beautiful. So I'm gonna keep it in this 89 CR500 rolling assembly, and what we are going to do instead is we are going to resto mod this thing. There was an overwhelming amount of comments last time from you guys out there saying do not AF build it, just do resto mod. And so that is a plan. We are going to resto mod this thing, and I'm going to start picking away at it slowly. Obviously there's a bunch of work that we need to do on this thing, guys, but I feel like I've talked forever now, which is probably true. So I'm going to go ahead and start replacing the hardware, getting this thing tightened up. Let's get the paint off the tank. I need to tighten up all that wiring over there, and then we'll take it for a little shakedown ride and hook up the GoPro and show you how this thing moves. And plus I need to fix this exhaust because it's way over on the wheel. It needs to be spaced out, and I don't know. Thing's a hodgepodge. Let's do it. Oh, home on the range where the deer. That was overly tight. Deer and the antelope play. Also, I did notice that whoever put this air filter in, they decided, let's put a 4-stroke air filter in, and that should work, right? No, they don't work. Like, oh, guys, why? So, here's the cage. and filter is just so baggy all over it. So went on to RockyMountainATVMC.com, and I don't know if you guys have seen this before or not. Like this, I think, is probably one of the best, not sponsored by Pro Filter. Anyway, these are $10. $10. And they have them for every bike on RockyMountainATVMC.com website. And it's pre-oiled, ready to install. I'm like, so I seriously bought one for every one of the bikes here in the shop garage or whatever. So I'll have a link down in the description to the Rocky Mountain landing page where you can select which one fits yours, get the focus, and yeah, I'm kind of stoked. $10 for an air filter, pre-oiled. It's gonna be better than the wrong one here. So gonna get that switched out too. There we go. That one fits a lot better, just as it should. It's not the 4-stroke style, but yeah, $10 on Rocky Mountain, pre-oiled, ready to install into your dirt bic and go ride. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean out the air intake track though, because he might have let it sit. I don't know if he rode it with that old air filter or not, but I'm gonna clean it out anyway. So, something that you guys caught last time that I did not, and you guys are some fart smellers out there. Upper bolt here for the motor mount. It's missing. Do you know why that's missing? Some of you do. It's missing because this is a short rod motor, which means that it is a smaller deck, and these will not go in there because it's now a shorter deck with the short rod motor. If this was the taller one, which is taller, I heard by, it's a few millimeter, enough to make power though, then I wouldn't have any issue with that bolt hole right there lining up. Nothing I can do about that. I'm gonna have to custom make some upper mounts for this thing. Not a big deal. I'm gonna leave it like that for now, but unfortunately that will cause more vibration, which fine, bring it on. Let's have more vibration. So you guys can see the original color kind of blistering up under all of these paint chips here. It's more of a orangey red. There's definitely a Honda color. So I got some premium stripper here. You know, don't buy the regular stripper. You got to get the premium. We're gonna spread this all over, and it's gonna cause all this paint to wrinkle up, and we'll take the pressure washer to it, and it'll all just blow right off. So say goodbye to the wrong red here. All right, so I spared you guys a lot of the stuff. So we got the tank completely stripped off. Now it's more of that orangey color. You might be able to see the contrast now between the shrouds and the tank. The tank was very foggy after scraping off all that paint. So I threw a little bit of gloss on it, and this is basically just like SC1, but I actually like this stuff better. It's by Reverend, Born Again, premium gloss coating. In my opinion, it smells better, which I know is saying a lot too, but it smells better than SC1. And it's a fraction of the price. So anyways, I coated it and then wiped it down so I can at least grip it, but left paint on everything else. Repacked the muffler. You guys remember how I said in the last video that the fuel was puking out of the float, so I did clean up the float real quick. I don't know if it's gonna hold or not, but we'll try it. Put all the bolts in. The exhaust has all the hardware now, so it's pretty well squared away. Tidied up all the electrical on the stator side. It's now pretty dang good. I didn't fix some things like the grips, and just because I just want to go run it, check it out. I need to go to the gas station real quick and go get some gas. But I would say it's good to ride and safe to ride at this point. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna go run and get some gas. And we'll suit up and go take this pig for a ride. How's that sound? Good? I think it's good. I think it's really good. So, all right, guys. So I got the 500. I got the shifter on. I didn't have a shifter. I ordered one from Rocky Mountain, so that came in. We're good to go there. Goggles. I put some fresh gas in it. Some fresh Reverend 2-stroke premix. It's my favorite stuff. I'll show you guys. Like, all of Reverend's products, guys, are just so freaking good, and I use them in everything. Yeah, Holy Smoke 2-stroke. The Freedom Roast. And it smells like coffee, like a Tootsie Roll coffee. It's really good. So let's see how many kicks it takes. I have not started since the day after I posted that last video of this thing. So it's definitely going to be a test here. See how good it runs. And let's push it down here. I could have a little more air in the tires, but we'll run it. Choke on. See if it still leaks gas. If it does, we're still going to send it anyway. Doesn't look like it. Alright, cool. Clutch is a 500 clutch. Let's kickstart this thing. Do some priming kicks. So, it will not rev out. To me, it seems like it's terribly, terribly flooded, but it might be lean, but it does clean out. It does clean out on top. So, I don't know. We are still leaking gas, which would make it run lean, but I don't know. So it obviously needs some carburetor work still, which isn't it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go get a different bike. This thing doesn't run very good. Yeah. So guys, it runs and rides, but it's loading up bad, and could be the jetting. It could be a weak spark, even though I saw a pretty bright spark. There's a lot of things it could be. It is dumping gas out the bowl with the gas on. But the best part is it does run, and I've never in my life felt a seat more slippery than this one. Definitely gonna have to change that out soon. And let's take the auction YZ450 out. I love that E-start. We'll come back to you in a second. one. So, yeah, that did not go as I planned. I was hoping to take it on a much longer ride than that, let's just say. And though there's some obvious carburation issues going on, it's obviously something that you could easily remedy. So I'm not that worried about it, honestly. I'm just glad to hear it run, shift through the gears. And what's really bizarre is even though it was so loaded up, that thing will wheelie easily through fourth gear, but then it starts to sputter about mid-range. So, but now at least I know it's going to be a lot easier from here to just kind of start working on the side, or at least start accumulating parts for. Got to get new wheels for it. This rear one's cracked, and I've seen some things, boys and girls. I've seen some things, and they're never good. So the rear wheel, we need to replace that. And we might as well, because we're going to be doing a resto mod, which is, for those of you who don't know, resto mod is basically restoring a bike, but with modern parts, because a lot of it, that's what's available. Restoring, obviously, OE would be using a lot of the original OEM parts that came with it or are available. And as some of you know, with the CR500s, they're just not available anymore. So that kind of does away with that. Resto mods, though, you do heavily rely on older tech. So like, for instance, I will be doing a front end change on this. I felt like I was stink bug the whole time. I did actually feel like that rear shock is fairly decent, even for my size. So that's saying something. I might be able to do something with that rear shock. I don't know if I'm crazy about the piggyback bladder that's on there. It's kind of not, I'm gonna do some research and see on these 89s what shocks will fit over from maybe the CR250s or other CR500s. I feel like that'd be a better way to go. But doing a front end swap on this is like priority. And what's funny is I was on some Facebook groups, you know, CR500 groups and just 500 groups, and they're all saying the same things. Those front ends are god awful. I see what you mean. I'm 100% with it. A seat cover, because that thing felt like it was frozen silicone ice. I think that's getting through to you guys. Anytime I hit the gas at all, my butt would scoot back 6-7 inches on the seat, and that's just not going to do. So a gripper seat cover is in this thing's future, but as for now, it runs, rides, drives. I'm actually curious to see if the main jet is missing. I've seen it before where on 500s they vibrate and tingle. This one doesn't vibrate very much at all, but I've seen it before where they'll actually drop a pilot jet, or a main jet in this case, and so it just runs straight, you know, or it's just way too fat. That's kind of what I feel like. It's just way too fat. Obviously do a carburetor rebuild kit because it's just dumping fuel out of it. Might even do a smart carb. I love smart carbs. I have them on almost every single two-stroke I have, and they're phenomenal, and you just never need to worry about them, so I might do something like that. Either way, blow out the exhaust ends. We'll make a nice project out of this, but I really just wanted to do this video just to kind of get you guys up to speed with how bad is it, and also the weird things that we found out about the 86 engine, CR500 engine, 86 rear shock. So someone at some point had an 86 CR500 and they wanted to put it into a newer chassis. So I think that's what happened there. Other than that, guys, everything seems to be working fine. I need to, repair that over by the clutch over there because, yeah, it was leaking oil in my boot. Just things like that. But at the end of the day, it's a worthy candidate, especially for 600 bucks. Right now, I'm into it for a shifter, a clutch lever, gas, air filter, like stuff you really can't even talk about. It's like that's normal wear and tear stuff. But yeah. Worthy candidate, super stoked, and I can't wait to do more with it in the future. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. Check out those Pro filter air filters. Seriously, for like 10 bucks, pre-oiled. And if your order is over, I think 75 bucks, they ship it for free. So if you guys pay shipping on it, it might be 14 bucks for a, ready to go air filter. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know where you live. Either way. So for the 1989/86, I don't know, what do you call that? CR500. I'm gonna wrap it up from the shop garage, whatever, next weekend. So we got rain coming this entire week here. So I don't know how much riding I'm gonna be able to do. But what I wanna do is pull out the Yamasaki. I know you guys remember the Yamasaki, a lot of you guys do. I wanna ride that thing. I want to put it up against my other KX500, and we might throw the 89 in it if I get anything done on that. Probably not, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up from the shop garage, whatever, for right now. Till next time, I'll see you on the next one. I love every single one of you guys. Peace out for now. Bye-bye. That thing was seriously scary, but I am glad that this tank was able to be restored. That I am stoked about. Now it's just time to get some plastics for it. Oh yeah, Super Evo. That too. Money.